So I often get asked the origin story of Athena. How did it all come to be? How did I end up doing this? So, on the one hand, I feel like everything I've done in my entire life fed into how I got here. But we'll just back up, I don't know, maybe 10 years, 10, 12 years ago. I was going through a rough spot in my own life, and I was in the middle of a divorce and financially just kind of worried. And I had been an entrepreneur, and I had this small business and that small business, and none of these small businesses really took off. And I was pretty stressed out, and I just said to myself, oh my gosh, I now just need a job. I just need a job, please. I need to go to work, make a difference somewhere, have money show up in my bank account, and it's just got to be that simple. And a friend of mine I saw on Facebook was looking for an executive assistant. And I was like, okay, executive assistant. Oh, good. I think I got that skill set. I can do that. And I went to work for her, and she owned a recruiting firm. And so I got on the bus and took my, laptop to the office and did all of that. And not long after, she sold or got out of the lease of the building that we were all in. And we were all, quote unquote, working from home. And that was probably, 2012-ish, right? So this is way, way, way before the pandemic. And I'm loving it. I'm an EA, I'm working for a CEO, and I'm working from home. And it's awesome. And that business, that company started to kind of fizzle down in size, and she didn't really need an EA anymore. And so we parted ways. And also at the same time, my father was in the last chapter of his life. And I decided, I'm going to go spend the last 6 weeks of my dad's life with him. So I went to California and hung out with my dad for about 6 weeks, the last 6 weeks of his life, and he passed away. And I went back home to Seattle, and I just gave myself some months to just hang out and not do anything in particular. And then I was ready, to go back to work. And I started rustling the bushes and asking my friends, do you know anybody? Do you know anybody who might need an EA? And one of my friends said, our CEO of our company could completely use you. In fact, he needs you. And I said, okay, well, introduce us. And I think that was probably, December of 2015. And she introduces me to Darren, and I become Darren's EA. And again, I'm working from home most days of the week. I think maybe one day of the week I go into his office and, open the mail and organize his office, and then go back to my office and work from home. And it was great. And then Tiffany says to me, she says, hey, I'm going to need somebody like you also in the next quarter. So if you could plan for that, that would be great. And I was like, Tiff, I'm full. I'm not really looking for anybody else. And she said, no problem. Just find me somebody like you. And I was like, oh. And she said, you really should open this as a business. And I said, I really do not want to be an entrepreneur again. Thank you, no. And so we put our heads together, and I said, well, let's find somebody that we know. And we both knew somebody named Dorian. And we said, we think Dorian would be great at this. And both of us knew her. And Tiffany said, well, why don't you just coach her, and we'll pay you a little bit to coach her in being an EA. So we brought Dorian in, and Dorian she had been in one job her entire adult life so far. And I said, Tiffany, we can't mess this up with her. You got to be a great person to be an EA for, and I got to be a good EA coach. And so Dorian left her job and came to work with us. And we were great. We were having a good time. And then Tiffany said, listen, the guys in sales need an EA. They're really doing all this admin stuff. It's not a great use of their time. And I said, Tiffany, and she said, Gina, you really need to open this as a business. Go find me somebody else. And I said, I don't want to. And she said, get over yourself. Go open this business. So in April of 2016, I found Allison. Allison came on board, and Allison, me, and Dorian were all working for the same company. And I went and officially founded the company in April of 2016. And then it just grew and grew and grew. I worked myself out of a job as an EA and got myself replaced, and kept finding more EAs and more clients and more EAs and more clients, and just paired them up. And